Okay, so good day everyone. So we are now on the 7 effective strategies for teaching elementary mathematics. Teaching in today's mixed ability classroom can be a challenge. These days, it's not uncommon to find a wide range of abilities in the one classroom, from students struggling to grasp new concepts to those who are way ahead of their peers or peers from day one. So now we are going to illustrate 7 effective strategies for teaching elementary math. While individual students do benefit from different learning styles, there are a range of effective strategies which can help all students to succeed. So here are 7 effective strategies for teaching elementary mathematics. Let's start with make it hands-on. Manipulatives are hands-on tools that can make math a lot easier for young children to understand. Tools like Lego, clay, and wooden blocks can all be used in the classroom to demonstrate how math ideas work. For example, we have a Lego. Lego is a great way to demonstrate number building, operations, fractions, sorting, weathering patterns, 3D shapes, and many more. So, ang isang way ng paggamit itong make it hands-on ay yung tinatawag nating manipulative approach. Gumagamit mismo ng object at doon sa object mismo, kumbaga learning by doing. Yan. Okay, so tingnan natin to. Example ng video example ng hands-on math activity.
Ball is called a sphere. Yeah, it's kind of tricky.
I'm going to use this.
Because the PH is the F sound, so sphere. Can you find the two pieces that look like a cube to match up?
How heavy you want to cook?
There you go.
Heavy one, that is full sun cook.
And then find the other piece.
Alright,
Alright, now trace the cube.
but it was one of the ones with the day.
Hi friends, it's Amanda here from Fun Hands-On Learning. In this video, you're going to see multiple math activities that we did over the course of, 2 or 3 weeks. Now these activities meet second grade standards, but you could of course do them with first graders or even third graders. Just assess your students' needs and meet them where they are. I hope you enjoy this video. So this first activity here is a geometry activity working on 3D shapes. So in order for us to employ some memory activity, we used the puzzle pieces that come with this activity. He had to match them up, say the name of the shape, and then trace the shape. Now I happen to also have some 3D shapes on hand, so he was matching up the little pieces to his mat here as well, so that helped out a little bit too.
Alright, the last step. You found 46. And now the last step is to cover up 46 on your mat. Use your little ice cream cone erasers. Cover up 46 is your answer. Okay. Look, there's two 46s, so that means 46 is going to be another answer. Alright, we are going to add 14 plus 65. Now we know that we start in our ones place here, so we add 4 plus 5. What does that make?
4 plus 5 equals 9.
So our 9 is going to be in our ones place, and what's 1 plus 6?
Because I knew it because I remember that 4 plus 4 is 8, but then since it's 4 plus 5, we only need one more. And then,
You mean 4 plus 9? Okay, so yeah, so 5 plus 4 is a 9. Okay, that was a great way to think of it because you knew 4 plus 4, you knew your double fact.
7.
Okay, so our answer is 79. Can you find the 79 cone? You find your 79 cone, there you go. All right, put that on your ice cream. And now we can find the dominoes that match if we want. And we got to cover it up. Okay, so we've got 65 and 14 plus 65 is 79. And now use one of your erasers and cover up the answer on the mat.
As you have seen, this activity is an addition activity, and it had a few steps that he had to follow. So he had to look at the numbers on the ice cream cones. He could use his dominoes to help him add, and then he would find the ice cream cone that matched with the right answer and put it on the bottom. The final step was to find that answer on his mat and cover it up. So once he had his entire mat covered up, he knew he was complete. We used little ice cream cone erasers, which made it extra fun.
Okay, next strategies is use visuals and images. While students will come across countless graphs and visuals in their math textbooks, research shows this is not or isn't the only place they should be utilized. According to the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, the most powerful way to use graphics in elementary math is in the conjunction with specific practice or guidance, either from a teacher or another classroom tool. Okay, so panoorin natin itong video example nito tinatawag na yung tinatawag natin na using visual.
What are some of the learning theories that Singapore mathematics is based on? These are the learning theories that all pre-service teachers are taught at the National Institute of Education in Singapore. Singapore mathematics is based on the CPA approach, C for concrete, B for pictorial, A for abstract. This is based on Jerome Bruner's 1960s theory on representation. Basically, all abstract ideas are introduced via concrete materials which children can manipulate. Afterwards, the visual or pictorial representations are used to represent the abstract concepts. The CPA approach is one of the fundamental theory used in the development of Singapore mathematics. Let us look at one example of the CPA approach for the topic of addition and subtraction. Let this represent 1. So this will be 10. And this represents 11. In a CPA approach, when children learn addition of, say, 11, 110 and 11, with 23, 2 10s and 3 1s, children can almost readily see that the total of 11 and 23 is 34. 3 10s and 4 1s. This is an example of a CP approach where children will eventually learn it symbolically, that 11 plus 23 is equal to 34. This number sentence is in symbols. It is abstract. Children access abstract ideas via concrete material. Let's look at another example for subtraction. Let's look at 32, 110, 2 10s, 3 10s, and 2 1s. If we are doing 32 subtract 11, it's probably easy. Children will recognize that this means taking away 110 and 1, leaving behind 21. What if it is slightly more difficult? 32, subtract 15. Students will now say that, all right, to take away 5 from the 2, that's not possible right now because there are only 2 ones. They will then say, oh, perhaps I could exchange one of the 10s for 10 ones, resulting in the 32 being renamed as 20 and 12 ones. Now, there's ample ones for the students to take away. 5 ones and 110, resulting in 17. Much later, children will write it in this format: 32, subtract 15, and they will use their prior experience with a concrete material to say that, okay, to take away 5 from the 2 ones, there's not enough of the ones, but that's all right. We can rename 32 as 20, or 2 10s, and 12 ones. Now there's ample ones to subtract 5 away from, resulting in 7 ones, and then subtracting 110 from 210, resulting in 110, giving a final result of 17. The CPA approach allows children to understand something that is abstract, like an algorithm, via the use of concrete materials. In the textbook, there will be pictorial representation of the same experience. This is an example of the CPA approach using the topics of addition and subtraction.
Okay, number 3, find opportunities to differentiate learning. It's important that students feel comfortable and are given the opportunity to learn new math ideas at their own pace without feeling rushed. But while the idea that given enough time, every student will learn is nothing new. It's easier said than done. Said than done. Mastery learning is about giving students as much time as they need to grasp a specific skill or concept. It involves varying the time you give each student to succeed. Technology-based classroom tools offer a powerful way to differentiate learning, while teaching elementary math, which is an effective way to help students in mixed ability classrooms to succeed. So ito naman yung tinatawag nating differentiate learning approach. Mas gamit na gamit ito sa tinatawag nating mixed ability classrooms. Okay, so tingnan natin yung video na related dito sa tinatawag nating differentiating instruction or differentiating learning approach.
Look at all these great volunteers. Go ahead. Yes, nice job. So the impact of differentiation, the students feel successful. They feel supported. They know if something is difficult for them, there's something that's a little more in line with their strengths coming up soon. So it really makes education fun and approachable. I really think it's the most effective way that I have seen to teach.
The vision and the mission of Highlander is to use innovative practice as a social catalyst. We want our kids to be able to do anything any other kid from Providence could do.
We use differentiation all across the curriculum here at Highlander, and especially in the first grade. Although the content is the same, having the stations really allows me to tailor my lessons to each individual group of learners. So how the differentiation looks in my classroom, we start off with a whole group lesson.
So let's get our reading glasses on. Let's get the letter part of our brains activated.
This section of our curriculum, we have been looking at nonfiction texts.
When we're looking at our book today, we're going to be thinking about where we can get information.
And then in the phonics realm, we focused on contractions.
We're taking two words, and what are we sticking them together with?
Apostrophe.
Yes, Karen. Good
And then we break off into our small groups. So our yellow group is still learning how to do a lot of our literacy things. The green group is doing pretty well, but has a few things to work on still. And our blue group is hitting all the first grade standards and needs to be stretched. So our differentiation kind of takes two forms. The first is by student grouping, and the second is by modality of learning. We have 20 minutes per station, and there are 3 of the stations. The students will rotate through all 3 stations each day.
So our first station for the blue group is the computer station.
The students use a Google form to check in. They'll normally watch a video or carefully observe a photograph and answer some questions about that.
We watched a video about how to grow a seed. We had to type in our favorite part and why.
After they finish that form, they can check out an ebook.
And then you could do this game of reading called Teacher Must Know How to Read.
We're delivering things in a way that is visual, that is auditory, that is individual to the students through the technology.
After that, she rings the bell.
Clean up, switch up, first grade readers.
We switch to the sort station.
Our sort station is more of a physical modality. They're using their bodies, which is so important for first graders. They need to move. Kids are cutting out the words, they're gluing them down.
We had a contrasting game.
It's fun because it's all mixed up and you had to find the right pieces.
And then after we do that, we do rainbow writing.
That's another way that we differentiate. If students are able to get through more work, then they have some freedom of choice.
Clean it up, switch it up.
The last station, we're talking to each other and learning from each other. So that's more of the social interaction type of modality.
I like the teacher station the most because we get to be with Miss Gallagher and we get to learn cool stuff.
So take a look at the illustrations on this page, right?
The content is the same, but it can be differentiated in a number of ways. My blue group, for example, they know what text is. They know what illustrations are. And so for them, I create a Venn diagram.
You need to make one circle like this, and then you make another circle overlapping that.
Oh.
For the yellow or the green group, I'm just leaving the Venn diagram out of it. We're still doing essentially the same thing, but just that piece that might be confusing to some of those students, I just leave that out for a later time. They'll get to it.
All right, so clean up and meet me in the middle of the rug for writing. Nice work, first grade.
Being able to move through those stations, it's just another level of helping the students learn as much as they can each year. They really feel excited when they make that growth.
They're proud of themselves. They feel like they're effective learners. As a teacher, honestly, it is a lot of work, but the results that you see and the happy faces of the kids and the good feeling that you have in the classroom is worth it.
Number 4. Okay, so strategy number 4, ask students to explain their ideas. Have you ever noticed how much more confident you feel about a concept after explaining it to someone else? Metacognition is the process of thinking about your options, choices, and results. And it has a big impact on the way students learn. Before assigning a math problem, ask students to brainstorming problem solving strategies they can use. Encourage students to work together to suggest different strategies in a respectful way. This process can be carried out every stage of the problem solving when teaching elementary math. Once students have offered an answer, ask them to verbalize step by step how they got the answer. Okay, so next, number 5, strategy. Number 5, incorporate storytelling to make connections to real-world scenarios. When it comes to igniting the interest of young minds, not much comes close to a good story. Incorporate story problems into your classroom lessons. Allow students to see how certain math concepts can apply to real life. Story problems are also a good way to help students understand how to use math in everyday life and see the relevance of math. Before assigning a math problem, ask students to brainstorming, problem solving, and so on. Okay, so tingnan naman natin itong tinatawag natin na storytelling approach. Meron tayong sample page niya.
You know, there is a strategy integrating story writing or storytelling in maths classes. It connects maths with English, left brain, right brain, connects the two. All possible kinds of learners in the class get connected with it because everybody likes stories. So how does one go about it? There are 3 ways. The first is the whole class does it together with you instigating them. The second is divide children into small groups, ask them to write a story. And the third is let them be on their own, each child alone. They can sit anywhere, they can lie down, they can go out, they can sit on the desk, sit on a chair with their feet up, and let them go into their dream world with a paper and some color pencils. But how does one begin it if you have never tried it in your class? If your children have not even heard of story writing in the maths class, what do you do? So this is what you need to do. Let's say your topic is decimals. When you're doing it with the whole class, you ask the children, you give them the first sentence and you say, I went to the market and I bought a packet of biscuits and it costed me rupees 12.50. And then ask the class, and then what happened? One child will answer and then say, and then what happened? Another child will answer. Third child will answer. The condition for every child is, whichever sentence they give, it should have a little bit of decimal into it. And as you go on with, and what happened, and then what happened, and then what happened, your whole class has brought in a story. This is the first way. When they work in groups, you can give them the topic decimal, give them a very clear instruction, and give them clues. Your clues can be numerical and verbal and as well as visual if you can draw it on the board. Like I would say your clues are 2.1, 3.2, addition, subtraction, clothes. Now make a story on this and let them be free. Let them shout, let them talk loudly, let them discuss with each other. Remember, it's constructive noise, so it shouldn't be something that disturbs anyone. And the last way, when children work alone, there also give them some clues if your class needs it. Definitely tell them the content is decimals. For example, I did once, I told them, write a story on decimals, but I want to see addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all of them coming into your story. And you can write it imagination, you can write it out of real life, that's up to you. And then I would leave the children alone. And the result is absolutely magical. So remember, writing stories in mathematics, you taking the whole class, children working in groups, children working alone. You working in the whole class, and then what happened? Children working in groups, children working alone, clues, numerical, visual, verbal. These are the ways you can integrate story writing or storytelling in maths classes.
Okay, so strategies number 6, show and tell new concepts. Elementary math teachers should normally begin each lesson with a show and tell. Telling is the process of sharing information and knowledge with students, while showing involves modeling how to do something. These days, teachers can really kick show and tell up a notch with an interactive whiteboard using animations and videos to clearly show and tell specific math concepts in an engaging and interesting way. Okay, so tingnan natin yung isang video about the show and tell approach.
Hello students, it's Miss Limmeyer here. So right now I am providing you with an example video of an upcoming project that you will all be completing. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a show and tell video. So you all will pick 4 to 8 objects that you think describe you very well. Either they represent your interests, your hobbies, or a little bit about your family. And then we will, throughout the next couple of weeks, watch a couple each day, and then we will learn a little bit more about each other. So I am super excited. So let me begin. This is my first object. It's a picture of my beautiful family. It is from a little bit ago, but I just think it's really fun because I love my family and I think they're really awesome. So I've picked that as my first item to share in my show and tell. My second object is a postcard, and this is a picture from Yellowstone National Falls. And I decided to select this because I love Yellowstone. My family's been there 4 times, and I also love to collect postcards. My third object is a vase of sunflowers. They're fake, but I still love them. So sunflowers are my favorite flower, and I just love that they bring a little happiness and joy. So I decided to include that. And then I have my pair of yellow Converse because I love Converse and I think they're really fun and just exciting. They're my favorite shoe by far. And I chose these because this is my favorite pair. And then for my last object, I decided to include my hiking backpack because I love to hike and I love being in the outdoors, and this backpack has been with me through a lot, been on quite a few hikes. And so I think this just represents my love for hiking and my passion to be outside. So those are the objects I chose for my show and tell. I cannot wait to see what you select.
Okay, for strategy number 7, let your students regularly know how they are doing. Feedback is an important part of teaching elementary math and improving students' results. Let your students know how they have performed on a specific task, along with helpful ways that they can further improve and extend their skills. Remember, feedback is different to praise. Focus your feedback on the task itself rather than the student, and make sure they have a clear understanding of what they did well and how they can improve next time. In Carol Dweck's research around what's known as the growth mindset, she writes, okay, so tingnan natin yung isa sa video. Dito tinatawag na feedbacking approach.
Feedback is another important concept to think about in terms of what it means to engage children in quality learning environments. We would think about not just feedback, however, but also feed forward. So by that we would be talking about actually providing children with spaces to reflect and facilitated learning environments where they reflect not only on what they have learned, but also how that learning might indeed take them forward into new learning contexts.
Yesterday, we looked at changing that story a little bit. Do you remember? You came up with some really good ideas of how we can change the story. We're going to innovate on that story of the very hungry caterpillar.
On Friday, she gobbled up 5 nuts.
Ooh. So which did you change? You changed Monday and made it say?
Friday.
You changed he and made it say?
She.
You changed 8 through and made it say?
Gobbled.
gobbled up. Good boy. You changed 1 to say
5.
and apple to say
Nuts.
Oh, well done. You innovated that story, changing all 5 different parts. I want you to write me a sentence, innovating on this one, changing it a little bit. I use feedback continually across the day for the children to acknowledge when they've learned something and achieved a skill, and then it gives them that confidence that yes, I've done well, or to help redirect them and not have them go on making the same mistake constantly throughout that activity. Feedback is used immediately as best as possible so that we can redirect and regather thoughts and move on to the new skills.
On Tuesday, he saw 8 blue apples.
Well done, I like that. Do you know what I like about it? I can see you've used a capital letter to start your sentence. Well done. You've used a full stop at the end of your sentence. I love that. And apples. Can you find that word anywhere else on the page? Yes, if I give you my pen, do you want to have another go there at writing the word apples for me? When giving back feedback to children, here at our school we have a system that we try to work on 2 stars and a wish. So we acknowledge 2 positive things that the children have done with their work at this stage, and a wish or a goal or the next step of where we'd like them to be heading. So it's recognising their good work and helping them look at where they can take their work next time to make it even better. We wanted to say, on Tuesday he saw 8 blue apples. I wonder how we could make it say apples. Oh, great thinking. Pop an S on the end.
Quality teachers know that intervening with children's learning at just the right time, at that time when children just need something to take them forward into the new ways of learning or into new understandings. And part of our decision-making process is about watching children and knowing children well.